What is he even arguing about? Because it can't be that one play. Look at him.
Jerry Jeudy really chose the worst possible moment to test Shedeur Sanders, because the second he stepped up with that loud energy, everything flipped on him fast. What started as casual trash talk turned into pure embarrassment for Jeudy before he even knew what hit him. Shadow didn't hesitate, didn't stutter, didn't fold. He shut the whole thing down with calm confidence that caught Jeudy completely off guard. The wild part is that Jeudy walked in like he wanted a showdown, but he clearly didn't realize Shedeur was carrying a whole season of frustration, responsibility, and pressure on his shoulders. Jeudy thought he could bark a little and make Shadow nervous, but instead he ended up looking more rattled than the guy he was trying to shake. Shadow stayed cool, sharp, and locked in, like someone who's been through way tougher moments than simple trash talk ever could deliver. Shedeur has been dealing with everything: doubts, injuries, non-stop criticism, and he's handled all of it without folding once. Jeudy thought a few loud words would throw him off, but that didn't move Shadow at all.
Those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work. And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think
all Jeudy did was show everyone how emotional he really was, while Shadow stood there steady like a true leader who's already faced storms way heavier than that little exchange. And the part that stings the most is this: Shadow shouldn't even be dealing with extra drama from other players when his own coach is out here, making things more complicated than they need to be. Stefanski stays aggressive at the wrong times and quiet when the moment actually calls for strength. He gambles with Shadow's drives, puts him into tough situations, and then leaves him to face questions for choices he didn't even make. Shadow keeps getting blamed for decisions that aren't his, questioned for play calls that fail every single week, and pushed into situations that would break most quarterbacks. Meanwhile, he stays disciplined, focused, and refuses to crack under pressure, even when the problems start inside his own building.
Jerry Jeudy has found himself in some serious hot water yet another week. Now, last week we seen Jerry Jeudy fumble. You know what I'm saying? And, I didn't really want to go in on Jerry Jeudy because he liked that on the football field. But it was looking kind of spooky. Looked like he just did one of these. He just threw the ball. But I let that slide, dog. I let you slide. Now, today, I ain't the only one that noticed this. Now, Shedeur had a pass, right? Shedeur had a situation in the game where Jerry Jeudy looked like he went out on an out route or a post, one of those long routes, bruh.
And through all this chaos, Shadow still stands tall, still defends his team, still carries the weight like it's just another day. And that kind of strength is rare out here. Most players, especially the younger ones, would have cracked under half of what he's dealt with, but not him. So when Jeudy tried stepping up like he was about to shake something loose, he wasn't facing the Shadow who just threw a pass. He was facing someone who's been pushed, doubted, knocked down, and still gets up every single time. Shadow has dealt with way more this season than people want to admit. The pressure, the expectations, the loud criticism, and the lack of real support from coaching choices that constantly put him in risky spots. Yet he stays respectful, stays focused, and never hides behind excuses, even when he has every reason to. Meanwhile, Jeudy lets his emotions run wild. Stefanski keeps throwing his quarterback into dangerous situations, and somehow the only steady, calm, committed person in the whole mess is Shedeur Sanders. Moments like this just prove why he's built to rise above everything thrown at him. Jerry has been looking shaky for weeks, and now the whole world is seeing it. It's not one slip-up, it's a pattern. Every time the team needs him to stay locked in, he fades, loses focus, and then looks around confused like somebody else caused it. He dropped that ball with no pressure earlier, and people tried to give him grace, but now it's happening again, and it's obvious he's not helping his quarterback at all. When a receiver runs a major route, the quarterback expects trust, clean timing, strong effort, real commitment. But with Jerry, it's always confusion, hesitation, or half-hearted energy, and fans can see it clearly. So when that route fell apart this time, nobody pointed at Shedeur. They pointed straight at Jerry because he's been playing like he's not fully invested. And instead of owning it, he keeps acting like the blame belongs somewhere else, while Shedeur is out here fighting pressure every single week, carrying the offense, staying composed, and still trying to lift up the players around him even when they make his job harder than it needs to be. Even when reporters ask Shedeur about routes that clearly broke down, he still refuses to blame anybody. And that discipline shows a level of maturity many veterans don't even show under pressure. But it's rough when your own receiver won't finish the job cleanly. Shedeur is doing everything right, reading the field, making the throw, trusting his teammates.
To blame. You know, like, basically, it's kind of on me. It could be chemistry. Now, I'm further analyzing this damn play now after the fact, and it looked like Jeudy might have gave up on the play. Now, I'm not saying that he did or he didn't, but it looked real spooky, Jeudy, bro. You ain't had your arms out. You ain't had nothing. Looked like you was running half speed, dog. And you can't be going out like that 2 weeks in a row.
And Jerry keeps tripping up the whole operation with sloppy execution and shaky focus. This isn't just about one route gone bad, it's deeper than that. It's about commitment, effort, and who really shows up when the moment hits. And right now, Shedeur is the one carrying the whole load while Jerry keeps making the situation heavier with mistakes, excuses, and zero awareness of how much damage he's causing to the offense. When a quarterback steps up and says, "I'll take the blame," even when everyone can see it wasn't his fault, that tells you everything about his character. Shedeur is protecting the locker room, protecting his teammates, protecting the culture, even when the energy around him doesn't match his own. He's giving Jerry every possible benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe it's chemistry, maybe it's timing, maybe it's communication. Anything except what everyone saw with their own eyes. A receiver slowing down on a live play. And that's what makes it all so frustrating. Shedeur keeps doing the right thing, taking pressure off others while already carrying way more than he should. He shouldn't have to cover for someone jogging through a route while the ball is literally in the air. That's not chemistry. That's low effort, plain and simple. And the worst part? This isn't the first time Jerry has caused issues. It's turning into a full pattern. And patterns on the field don't lie, even if players try to talk their way around them. But Stefanski isn't helping at all. He keeps putting Shedeur in bad spots with messy play calling and refuses to demand accountability from the people around him. If your receiver isn't finishing his route, you fix it. If someone slows down, you correct them or sit them. Simple. But Stefanski lets it slide, then acts confused when the offense falls apart like he didn't see the warning signs. Instead of protecting his quarterback, he keeps throwing Shedeur into risky situations and expecting him to clean up everyone else's mistakes like it's part of the job. Shedeur is out here trying to build real chemistry with players who aren't matching his energy. And the wild part is, the coach keeps holding the wrong person accountable. The one guy actually doing everything right. That's why these moments look so bad. Not because of Shedeur, but because he's surrounded by people who aren't giving him the structure or support a quarterback at his level deserves. The analyst was right. Jerry flat out didn't finish the play. And the proof is right there on film. No arms up, no jump, no reach, no fight, nothing. It looked like he mentally checked out while the ball was still floating in the air. And that's exactly how a guaranteed touchdown turns into a wasted opportunity. When a quarterback like Shedeur puts the ball exactly where it needs to be, the receiver has one job: fight for it. Stretch, jump, reach, hustle, give something. But Jerry didn't even give the bare minimum, and that's what makes the whole thing look so bad. Shedeur can't turn a big play into magic if the guy on the other end is jogging like he's just warming up out there. The analyst called it out because everyone watching saw it. Shedeur delivered, Jerry didn't, and the crazy part is how much Shedeur has to protect people like Jerry after the play is over, as if he didn't just get let down in front of the whole stadium. Shedeur stays respectful every time, even though the footage clearly shows a lack of effort. He's not being harsh, he's being real. If Jerry even tries on that route, even gives a small effort, those are easy points on the board. But this is exactly what Shedeur goes through every single week. Perfect throws turning into empty plays because someone else didn't do their job. And through all that, Shedeur stays composed, stays locked in, keeps leading the offense like someone with years of experience, not someone still early in their career. Meanwhile, Jerry keeps slipping with lazy routes and no awareness of how much it hurts the team.
How
Look. No arms. No, look like he gave up on the play.
Okay, Jerry. You know what I'm saying? That's tutty if you know what I'm saying? Listen to Butter. That's tutty if you put your hands up a little bit. Maybe a little hands up action. Maybe a little jump a little smidge. That shit right there. Look at that good. Look at that lineman out there making breakfast.
The analyst said what needed to be said, and he wasn't lying. The problem was never the quarterback. It's the receiver who refuses to meet him halfway, and everyone can see it now. Shedeur is basically telling the truth without spelling it out, and the wild part is he's doing it with pure class. He hears the question, he feels the disrespect in it, and instead of snapping back, he handles it with calm confidence that shows exactly what kind of leader he is. When he says it's a rude question, he's right, because the reporter is clearly trying to bait him into blaming his own coach for those questionable 4th and 1 calls. They want him to point fingers, stir drama, and take the heat for decisions he never made in the first place. But Shedeur stays disciplined, keeps the focus on playing, competing, and staying united, even when the setup is obvious. That's what real leaders do. They protect the locker room, even when the locker room doesn't always protect them back. And you can hear it in his voice. He's tired of answering for mistakes that aren't his, but he still chooses the high road every single time. He refuses to throw his coach or his teammates under the bus, even though it would be the easiest thing in the world to do. And honestly, what is the Browns media doing out here? Why are you aiming at a young quarterback instead of asking Stefanski the real questions? Why not ask the coach why he's calling risky plays backed up in his own territory? Why not ask why he keeps putting his quarterback in dangerous situations that don't fit the moment? Why attack the guy who executed the play instead of the person who actually designed it? This is the whole problem. They keep dumping pressure onto Shedeur instead of holding Stefanski accountable for reckless decisions. And Stefanski keeps slipping out of responsibility every time while Shedeur takes hits meant for someone else. That's not leadership from the coaching staff. That's not support. That's not how you protect your quarterback in a tough season. But even with all that, Shedeur stands tall, stays respectful, and refuses to blame anyone. He shows up, does his job, and stays solid, while everyone else needs to start doing theirs. And in the end, Jeudy's weak effort and Stefanski's shaky decisions just proved one thing loud and clear. Shedeur keeps showing the whole league what real leadership looks like. Even when the people around him keep creating chaos he doesn't deserve. And the truth is finally shining through. He's not just carrying the offense, he's carrying the entire Cleveland identity on his back. The fans see it, the players see it, and even the opposing teams are starting to realize that the Browns only stay competitive when Shedeur is the one steadying the ship. Every week he steps into situations that were set up to fail, and somehow he still finds a way to make the team look functional. He's fixing bad play calls, adjusting protections on the fly, and turning broken plays into positive yards like he's been in the league for years. But no matter how much he elevates everyone else, he keeps dealing with teammates who don't match his urgency. And that's why the tension keeps growing, because people are tired of seeing the same patterns, the same mistakes, and the same excuses from players who are supposed to help their quarterback, not drag him backward.
The aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think, it was a great call by my coach.
Now, my job, bro, this is Cleveland media asking him this. Now, y'all see what I be talking about? And Tony Grossi asked some stupid-ass questions, too.
You like the aggression. Not you like the call, but do you like
I like being out there playing.
Thank you, Shedeur.
so whatever that comes with, it comes with, we're not going to be here and
When one guy is fighting like his career depends on every snap, but another guy is jogging on live plays, it exposes everything. It reveals who's locked in and who's showing up just to show up. The craziest part is that Shedeur never lets it break him. Even when the cameras catch teammates slowing down, missing blocks, or running half-hearted routes, he still keeps it professional. He still stays respectful, still keeps the energy positive, still protects the locker room even when he shouldn't have to. That says everything about his character and everything about the pressure he's dealing with behind the scenes. But fans aren't blind. They can see the gaps, and now they're demanding accountability from the right places. They're tired of Stefanski acting like everything is fine, while Shedeur keeps absorbing the fallout from bad decisions and weak effort. They're tired of certain players acting like they're doing their job when the film clearly shows the opposite. Shedeur is proving he's the future of the franchise, but the franchise needs to stop acting like he's supposed to do the job alone. It's time for the coach, the receivers, and everyone around him to step up, match his intensity, and finally protect the quarterback who's keeping this entire season alive. At some point, the organization has to open its eyes and admit what everyone else already knows. Shedeur is the only reason this team still has a pulse. Every time he steps on that field, he brings a level of calm, fire, and precision that the rest of the offense feeds off, even when they don't always return the favor. And that's why the cracks are becoming harder to hide, because the more he delivers, the more obvious it becomes who isn't doing their part. The fans can see it plain as day. When Shedeur drops back, he's not just reading defenses. He's reading the reactions of his own teammates to see who's locked in and who's zoning out. That's not how a quarterback should have to play, but he handles it anyway with the same steady confidence that's kept this team from falling apart completely. And it's wild because he shouldn't be the one carrying this much responsibility this early, yet he does it every single week like it's normal. Meanwhile, the coaching staff keeps moving like everything is fine, even though the film shows missed assignments, sloppy effort, and players drifting off at the worst times. And instead of correcting it fast, Stefanski keeps pretending the problems are small, which only makes the whole situation look worse. When your quarterback keeps showing elite focus and your receivers keep showing half-energy routes, something isn't adding up. And now the frustration is spilling into the fan base, into the locker room conversations, into every sports show that's paying attention. People are starting to call it what it really is, a lack of accountability from the coach and a lack of urgency from certain players who should be lifting their quarterback, not depending on him to clean up their every mistake. But even with all that noise around him, Shedeur never changes his approach. He keeps grinding, keeps studying film, keeps stepping up in every big moment like nothing phases him. That's why analysts across the league are starting to say he's built for more than just surviving. He's built to take over games, take over seasons, and take over the whole direction of the franchise. The only question now is simple. Will the Browns finally give him the structure and support he deserves, or will they keep letting old habits ruin the progress he's fighting so hard to build? Shedeur is the one holding this whole team together with real leadership and real toughness, and moments like this show exactly why he's built different. While everyone else keeps slipping into drama and bad decisions, he stays focused, stays solid, and keeps proving he's the only steady force this franchise can trust right now. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, drop a subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the truth. And tell me, do you think the Browns need to protect Shedeur better before things hit a breaking point? See you on the next one.